basic setup where you can see you have the ring light. I do have the cell phone in it. You probably wouldn't be doing that if you're using your webcam, and it's all hooked up into the computer. So you've got the computer here on the table, and then you've got the tripod set up with the webcam in it. All tripods come with a little screwy thing, which you just unscrew and you screw into your, well, you could if I could get it out. There we go. All webcams come with a little screwy thing, and then you put that in there, and this gives you your setup for your tripod. And then you snap it in here. You try to pretend you know how to do this, which I'm not sure I do. But anyway, you snap it in there like so. Don't do this. Snap it in. There we go. Get in there. And then you have the option of moving this. See, this goes down and this comes up like so. And then that can angle down. So you can move this around, you can move this around, okay, and tighten it up so it doesn't move around. And so basically, if you wanted, you're looking for brightness. So this room is very bright. I've got lots of lighting. I don't really need the ring light. However, it does cause, what would we call those? Shadows, glares, things on my face, which I don't like. And the ring light can make a lot of difference. So this is the ring light, and you can turn it on, and then you can change the lighting as you see fit. This is a lighter light, right? So you can do that, put more yellow in it. You can do whatever you like. And it's perfect, by the way, if you're filming with a cell phone. It actually works really, really well. It needs to be above your head and coming down on you. And that's why I've got the taller ring light. And then that way, if you're wearing glasses, there's no glare on your glasses. However, I've had trouble setting this up so that it doesn't have glare on my glasses when I'm standing on the other side of this counter trying to do something. And I think it has to do with the distance between the ring light and me. But you have to fiddle with it. A lot of times when I'm doing my workshops, I don't have this set up at all. I just have straight lighting because it's not a fancy video, so it doesn't really matter. And as you can see, I've got lots of bright light. Now, if you want, you can also get lighting like this. So that's photography lighting. And that's where I take little pictures of whatever recipes I do. Just flip on those lights and away I go. So you can use those as well, but you still get the glare on the glasses. It's just... Okay, so here we are with the setup on the other side. And I've gone into Zoom so that you can see this. And so you can see me. I'm standing in front of the counter. I'm only going by the ring light right now because when I had the overhead lights on, it was too bright. Mind you, it's kind of dark out right now. Normally when I'm doing the workshop, I don't need to worry about that. I don't need the ring light. I can just have the kitchen lights on. But I wanted to take some of the glare off, so that's why we're doing it this way. Okay, so as you can see me, and I'm looking at the camera, which you always want to do because if you're talking to the audience, you look to the camera. But you'll notice that I keep looking down because that's where the screen is. Okay, so that's a habit because you want to see what's going on, so you keep looking down, but you end up not looking at the camera. So that's just something you have to get used to. Now, notice the backdrop, what's going on behind me. You can see it's clear and clean. You always want to make sure that whatever angle the camera has, it's not showing anything you don't want to show, all right? And so right now, this is set up for me to talk. So if I was explaining something, if I was doing a PowerPoint presentation, I would be in this position. If I was in the kitchen, I would probably have a chair or something to sit on while I was in PowerPoint, but you know, you set up the comfort that you like. Now, all right, so the other thing is that, okay, so if I were going to angle down this to hit the counter, which I'm going to do in a minute, you're going to see that you'll pick up some of the computer, right? See how the computer's right here? Okay, so you have your choice. I'm going to show you what this is for later. You can move the computer over here, right? So you're talking like this. The computer's not in the shot at all. But every time you go to do something on the computer, you're like this, right? You can have it closer to you as well, on to the side. And you can do it on the other side if you like, whatever you want to do. You can do whatever you like. Okay. So the other option is to have a mouse and a mouse pad and a keyboard that's wireless, because then you still have to kind of look at it, but you don't have to bend over and reach for it. And then you can just use your mouse and you can just use your keyboard and do whatever controls you need from this position. I'm going to show you how to hook it on into the TV so that if you have a TV on a stand, you can put this TV right here and it's right in front of you, and that's really good at keeping your head up so that you're looking at the camera. This is from the other side of the counter, so if you don't have an open concept kitchen and you've got a wall where there isn't one right now, then you want to be on this side. You want the tripod and the camera on this side beside you, and then when you're talking to the camera, you are looking at it this angle, so the counter's over here, right? And they're looking at you front on. And then when you're ready to show them the counter, you just have to take this and rotate it like so, and then just turn it down, and there's a nice view of the counter. Okay, there's the mouse pad, right? If you want it, if you don't want it in camera, you just move it over there. And the computer is over here, right? But I'm using the mouse to control it so that I don't have to have it beside me. All right, and then when you're ready to have it come back to you, you just lift up the camera and you move it back over here, and there you are again. So that's what you do when you don't have an open concept kitchen. You'll notice I turned off the ring light. There's no purpose for the ring light here because there's a wall theoretically there if this was your kitchen, right? So hopefully that makes sense. All right, now I'm going to show you how to hook it up into the TV. Okay, so this is an HDMI cable, right? And you can see it's plugged into the back of the TV. And then you're going to take this and you have to plug it into the HDMI spot on the computer. And then now this is connected to the TV. Okay, so now you can see me on the TV, right? Mm-hmm. See, there I am on the TV. So I can still look here, which is my, but now I can look up and I'm looking at the camera because the TV is right behind the camera. This is really good when you have to look at the chat and maybe your eyesight is not that good, because when you have to look at the chat on the computer, you kind of have to bend over to read it. But when I go to the chat here, and again I'm using my mouse and my keyboard to get there, I can read it on the side of the TV. Now this is a big screen and that's why I kind of got it that way. It doesn't have to be this big, but there's an advantage to having this, which I'm going to show you for those of you who want to do yoga exercises or breathing exercises and you need a longer shot. There's an advantage to you to have it hooked up to the TV. So normally you need to be able to, this is a smart TV and you go to PC and this is the way you can do it. But there's other ways of doing it with a regular computer as well. And you may need somebody to help you figure those configurations out because every TV is different. But you can definitely see the advantage that you have, right? You see what's going on and never have to look at the computer, right? Now, I'm going to just go and show you the counter shot. Again, because it's on the other side, I have to walk over and tilt it down. But because it's on the TV, I can actually see when I'm tilting it down too. Woo! Look at that. And then I come back, and now I can do whatever preparations I want to do. You can see the top of the computer here. I don't have to have that in the shot. I can move that out if I want. I don't have to have this in the shot if I want. I can just move it over here. But you know, they know you're using a computer, so it's no reason not to. You'll also notice I'm wearing a black apron because at some point when you're working on, this is all they're going to see. And so a nice black apron sort of is not distracting to them while you're looking and preparing things here. So most people do not have their stove beside them on their counter like I do. So, and again, I didn't plan it that way. The stove was always on this counter, so when the wall came down, it's still on this counter. It's right there. Okay, So what you're going to do if you want to cook something and you want to show them the actual cooking, get an induction element like this. It's really cool. It works very fast. It heats up well. It makes a bit of a noise, but it's not too bad. And you need special induction pots, which you can get anywhere, including on Amazon. And what this allows you to do is show them exactly what you're doing and how it cooks. In terms of baking, you never have to show you putting it in the oven. What you have to do is, maybe your oven would be behind you here, or maybe this is what would be, well, if your stove was here, your oven would be here. It doesn't really matter where your oven is, but you just take it to the oven and you bring it back here. And if you have to show them when it's done, then you just show them to the camera, right? You don't actually have to have the camera pointing at the oven, going in or coming out. So hopefully that makes sense. And so you can see you can give a lot of really good techniques and tips by using something like this if your stove is not handy. Now if you were doing outdoor and you were doing grilling, you're going to set up the tripod beside the grill, obviously, so that they can see it as you're grilling. You can do a longer shot, so maybe you have some preparation going on outside, some condiment stuff, or I don't know, because I don't grill, but something going on outside you want to show them before they pop it on the grill, so that you're not having to, show them inside work and then drag the, you're not going to do that. You can do it all outside. And if you watch cooking shows, that's what they do. They have something set up and they do the marinades and whatever outside, and then they do whatever, okay? And then if you have a mixer, like I have a mixer right here, and this I can move into place if I need to. I have my Ninja here. So you can have other things that you move into the shot as you see fit, and then you just move them out of the way. And you can see a very little area, whether it's with my head in it or not, a very little area is showing, which means you can have stuff over there or over somewhere else on a table over there. Doesn't really matter. And they can't see it. And then that allows you to move fairly efficiently as you're trying to do this. Okay, so that is basic for the cooking. Now what I want to show you, and this is why I wanted to hook it up to the TV so that you can see this, is the long shot you need if you're doing like yoga exercises or something like that. Okay, so if you were doing like a breathing exercise or yoga, and I'm standing, so you might want to be sitting. This actually works better when you're sitting, or if you're on the floor, which you would be doing for yoga. I'm standing right now, but say you just wanted to talk to the camera, you set it up in this fashion so that you have a nice long shot, right? And I do have the mouse and the keyboard right here beside me, so I can use that. If you wanted to do like yoga poses, or maybe you were sitting to do the breathing exercises, then you point the cam, just the same way we did with the counter, you point the webcam at the floor. So you could be on a yoga mat on the floor, and you could have the keyboard and the mouse beside you so that you can, look at the chat or do whatever you're going. Now, you're probably saying, well, what's the advantage to this? Because you can see them on the screen too. So you can set Zoom to speaker presentation view, right? And that means whoever's speaking will be full screen. So if you're showing them techniques for yoga and you want to see if they're doing it correctly, or they need to ask you a question, or they need to show you something, because it's on the big screen like this, you could be sitting on the floor and you can see them just when they speak. They'll come up full screen and you can be talking to them and it's no problem. So this might be really advantageous to those of you who are trying to do things that aren't just cooking. I don't know if you care whether you do it for cooking or not. I like it, as I said, because it's easier for me to read the chat. But for you guys, this would maybe work really well for anybody doing these different techniques that you want to show them that are physical. You can see how much floor space is here, and that's basically all you need is some open floor space, and you can throw the yoga mat down, or you could bring in a nice chair, or whatever you want to do. So hopefully that gives you an idea of the setup for doing non-cooking things. Obviously, when you're at your desk, that's pretty straightforward. You're just looking straight to the camera, which is in front of you on your computer. You want to lift up the computer so that it's always you're not looking down at the webcam, because then you look funny. But other than that, you just play with these things, try different positions for the camera, see what you like. You do this ahead of time, and then when you get it into the position that you like, just remember what you did and how you set it up, and away you go. And it gets easier as you do it more often. So I hope you found these strategies helpful to you.